All right, 2026. Welcome to a new year. I can't even believe that 2025 is done. It's kind of crazy. Last year went by super quick, but here we are. So, my first video of 2026, and I think it's a fitting one, is about reinventing yourself. And I know there's a ton of videos out there on, people trying to tell you or sell you or give you 7 steps on how to reinvent yourself. This is not one of them, but I do want to share what's worked for me. You see, if something is broken, whether it be your HVAC, plumbing, what have you, you fix it. And in life is no different, right? I spent about 16 years, a little over 16 years, within corporate recruitment. It was comfortable, predictable, in a way, good salary, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, with my life. So I quietly started to rethink my passion. And oftentimes these changes happen in the dark. And while daunting as that may seem, you don't really have to overthink it. So there's a few main points that I want to go over in terms of what's helped me along the way in reinventing on who I am, reinventing my career, so to speak, that I'd like to share with you that I think might help you, whatever season of life you might be in right now. If you're thinking about changing careers or picking up a side hustle or taking your side hustle more full-time, like I did, I think maybe some of these points could help you out, in getting started. So the first one is more of a mindset, really, is it's not too late. It's never too late. So in my case, I'm 42. I began taking my photography more on the professional route, with client work and everything, about 2 years ago or so now, where I really kind of took it full time. So, it doesn't really matter, how old you are. It's never too late to start something new. And the nice thing about that is, you know who you are now. You've been through, however many years of your life you've been through up until, this point. You've had your career up until this point. You know who you are, you know your passions, you know what you want out of life. So it's actually kind of an advantage being older and starting something new because you have all that life experience behind you. And the second point, which I also think is very important, is transferable skills, right? So there might be skills that you have currently that will transfer over into the next thing you want to do in your life. So, for example, in my case, being in recruitment and HR for about 16 years or so, as I mentioned, I have the skills of building relationships, talking to people, telling a story in the sense of this is the company that I work for. This is a job that we have. This is our story and why you should work here. And being able to kind of sell that to potential candidates. So all that for me transfers over into my photography business in terms of lead generation, gaining clients, being able to network, being able to talk to people is something that I have no issue doing because I spent basically all my life talking to people. So it's a very transferable skill over to the photography and videography world, if you want to do it as a career, because for that, you need to have the people skills. You need to be able to talk to people. So very, very important to have those skills, and those are transferable for me. The next point, and probably maybe the most important point, is kind of cutting out other people's opinions, right? So, unfortunately, people are going to doubt you. They're going to say, well, you're a little old to be doing something new. You should just stay the course, retire and then have some fun. And I think it's very important, and it might be harsh, to cut those people out. You don't need that toxicity in your life, so to speak. You don't need that negativity. If they truly cared about you, they would say, okay, I believe in you, and let's go along for this ride. Let me know how it goes. Tell your story as it goes on. Maybe document it like, what I'm doing right now. So I think it's very important to kind of cut those people out of your life, or at the very least, just not talk to them about what you're doing, because it's only going to negatively impact, your mindset going into, this next phase of your life and this next profession that you want to do. And then finally, it's how you're going to make the switch. So you may be sitting there thinking, okay, well, I have this, side business that I'm doing. how am I going to make the switch? I want to do it right now. I want to kind of get out of my 9 to 5 and take my, my side hustle of, selling coffee out of my car, or my photography, my videography business, my design business. I want to take that full time right away. It's more about taking small steps and not leaping right into it, right? For me, it was a series of small steps along the way that got me to where I am now. It was, back in 2020, having lost my job because of COVID, taking small product photography jobs, taking small portrait jobs, and kind of those small little gigs to kind of build up my portfolio, build up my skill set, build up my confidence to the point where, I am now, where I am doing a lot more, client work, direct with clients, and being able to, gain, more business. So it was more of these small little steps that led into kind of taking it, full time. For me, it started in 2020 when I lost my job because of COVID. No one was really hiring back then, so why do you need a recruiter? That's when it really started for me. It was taking one job off of Upwork doing product photography, which led into another one off Upwork, and then another one through a referral, and then so on and so forth, to the point where I had, probably 8 or 10, clients doing some product photography work for. And that led into doing some more work. I built the portfolio, and led into doing some more work locally with clients, in my area, and doing events, doing branding, and it really kind of, worked up from there. So it was a series of small steps and a series of small opportunities that led up into being able to take this career more full time right now. So it's one thing that I've learned, it's that your 40s aren't the end of your story, all right? Or your 50s, your 60s, however, old you might be. It's actually just the beginning. It's the start of the life that you want to live. It's the start of doing the thing that you're passionate about. We only get so much time on this earth to have, and why not, spend it doing something that you're passionate about and that you want to do, whether that's full-time, part-time, on the side, whatever it might be. But don't be afraid to take that leap and to start those building blocks of getting to where you want to be with what you're passionate about. I feel that most people, that are too afraid, too embarrassed, too scared to reinvent themselves, because they might think that their family will think they're nuts. They might be afraid of what their friends and colleagues might say. But honestly, I would rather be, a little embarrassed or, fail than not try at all. To me, that would just be the ultimate, kick in the gut, is not having tried at all. So if you feel that need, that pull to try something new, to try tackling your passion, head on, do it. Don't wait, just do it. If you are a fellow creator, a fellow photographer, a fellow videographer, kind of doing it on the side, start those building blocks and start to acquire, some clients, start doing some more work, little by little, till you build yourself up. If you're just starting, YouTube, I know we've seen, 1,001 videos out there about just start. And as cliche as it might be, it's 100% true. You just need to start. That's what I'm doing here, with my YouTube channel. I've started, stopped, started again. And I feel that this is the year that I need to start and to be consistent, with it. So that being said, happy 2026. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you're in a similar position to me, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video as well as subscribe. It's free, and it'll really help me out. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.